Evolution of employment. In the previous section, we talked about the basics of employment services and why having a job is so important for people with developmental disabilities. We also touched on how history and society have shaped opportunities and the ways we can support inclusion and job access. Next, we'll review how job opportunities for people with developmental disabilities have changed over time. Innovations in practice. Movement from the medical model to the person-centered model. Traditionally, people with disabilities were seen primarily through a medical lens, with a focus on diagnosis and treatment. Over time, the approach has shifted to a more person-centered model, which emphasizes individual preferences, strengths, and goals, particularly when planning for employment and community participation. Mid-1980s. Emergence of supported employment. The 1980s marked a significant turning point with the introduction of supported employment. This approach made it possible for people with developmental disabilities to work in integrated settings, with support tailored to help them succeed in a community-based job rather than segregated environments. Transformation from train and place to place and train. In the past, the standard approach was to prepare people for work in a controlled setting before finding them a job. Train and place. This evolved into place and train, where job seekers start working in a real job with on-the-job training and support, which better accommodates their learning styles and real-life challenges. (1990s) Expanded use of natural supports. In the 1990s, there was a growing emphasis on natural supports, which involved encouraging coworkers and supervisors to play an active role in providing assistance, fostering a more inclusive and supportive work environment. Mental health employment as part of recovery. There has been an increasing recognition that employment can play a crucial role in mental health recovery. Meaningful work contributes to a sense of purpose, structure, and social interaction, all of which can support well-being. Ongoing innovation in accommodations and assistive technology. As technology advances, so do the possibilities for assistive tools and workplace accommodations. These innovations enable more people to work effectively and independently, having tools that are tailored to their specific needs and abilities. Innovations in transition practices focused on employment. Efforts to support young people with disabilities as they transition from school to work have seen continuous improvement, with a focus on connecting them to employment opportunities and supporting a smoother path into the workforce. Self-determination and self-direction. There is a growing emphasis on empowering people to make their own choices and take control of their career paths. This includes setting their own employment goals and determining the support they need to achieve them. Changing workforce and workplace. The workforce is becoming more flexible, diverse, and technologically advanced. This evolution creates more opportunities for people with disabilities as workplaces adapt to new ways of working and integrate a broader range of skill sets. Universal design. The concept of universal design promotes creating workplaces, products, and systems that are accessible and usable by everyone, regardless of their abilities. This inclusive approach benefits all employees and makes workplaces naturally accommodating. Evolution of employment for people with disabilities. No employment, institutionalized and taken care of. In the past, many people with developmental disabilities were institutionalized and not given opportunities for employment. The focus was often on basic care rather than enabling meaningful work. Sheltered employment. Sub-minimum wages in group settings. Sheltered workshops were a common option where people with disabilities worked in group settings, often earning less than minimum wage and doing tasks that didn't necessarily match their skills or interests. Job placement. Off-the-shelf jobs. For some time, the focus was on finding off-the-shelf jobs that were available to anyone, without considering individual skills or accommodations. This often limited the types of jobs accessible to people with disabilities. Supported employment. Community jobs with support. Supported employment introduced a more inclusive approach, allowing people with significant disabilities to work in regular community jobs with tailored support, making it possible for them to succeed in roles they might not have accessed otherwise. Customized employment. Personalized job strategies. Customized employment is a highly individualized approach where employment specialists work with both employers and job seekers to create roles that meet the needs of both parties. This approach considers the unique skills and interests of the job seeker, leading to more satisfying and sustainable employment. Supported and customized employment. Supported and customized employment are approaches designed to help people with developmental disabilities find meaningful jobs or even create new roles that match their abilities and interests. These strategies began in the 1980s to support people needing various levels of assistance in finding and keeping employment. Supported employment was developed as an alternative to traditional sheltered workshops, giving people more genuine choices in the kinds of jobs they pursue. Supported employment involves placing people in competitive, integrated jobs that are often customized to their specific strengths, interests, and goals. Sometimes, these jobs are short-term positions intended to pave the way for permanent, competitive employment. A key feature of supported employment is the ongoing support it provides to those with significant needs, ensuring they have the support necessary to succeed in their chosen roles. Customized employment is all about individualized job planning and development. This approach follows the idea of one person at a time, one employer at a time, aiming to create roles that fit both the employer's needs and the job seeker's unique strengths. Customized employment helps people who may require more specific support to find roles where they can meaningfully contribute to the workforce. Rather than being a new model, it's an expansion of inclusive practices that emphasize relationships and the value of community connections. Core values of supported and customized employment. Zero exclusion. This principle is about the belief that everyone has the right to work and participate in their community, receiving the necessary support to do so. It assumes that everyone is capable of learning new skills and building relationships. Full inclusion. People with disabilities, like anyone else, deserve integrated employment opportunities and the chance to contribute to their communities. Empowerment. The focus is on supporting people in ways that respect their dignity and independence. This means helping them reach their goals with the right amount of assistance, doing as much as needed, but as little as possible to encourage independence. In supported and customized employment, work happens in real community-based settings, not artificial environments. This model provides access to diverse work experiences and includes natural supports to ensure people feel fully included. Shifting mindsets. From caretaker to facilitator. A key part of this approach is moving away from a caretaker mindset, where people are seen as needing constant help. Instead, the goal is to support people in ways that respect their abilities and potential, helping them work toward independence. This shift is grounded in respect and high expectations, with the aim of putting job seekers in control of their career journeys. Employment First, a priority for inclusion. The Employment First approach emphasizes that competitive, integrated employment should be the first option for people with disabilities, including those with greater support needs. Key principles of Employment First include believing that everyone can work, Prioritizing integrated, community-based jobs. Ensuring job seekers have control and choice over their supports. Focusing on each person's abilities and potential. Promoting fair wages and benefits. Recognizing the value of relationships and community ties. Advocating for system changes that foster true inclusion and empowerment. The following questions are for your review. They will not be graded. Supporting people with disabilities in employment success. Nothing about us without us. Self-determination plays a crucial role in employment success for people with disabilities. It's about understanding oneself and believing in one's abilities to work toward personal goals. This mindset not only leads to positive outcomes in areas like employment, education, and community living, but also enhances overall quality of life. In the context of employment, self-determination means the job seeker takes control of their journey, making their own choices and setting their own career goals. The idea of choice can be complicated. Sometimes, in the name of choice, people have been given services that lead to long-term dependence on others, low pay or no job, no chance to improve skills, and separation from the community. Real choice should lead to independence, respect, and personal growth. Making an informed choice means understanding the information needed to make a decision, knowing the possible outcomes, and having a way to express what you decide. An informed choice doesn't have to be the perfect choice every time or even the first time. Our job is to help people know what job options and supports are available. We can do this by giving them chances to explore different jobs, like through job shadowing, workplace tours, internships, volunteering, and creating a positive personal profile, a document that helps identify strengths and interests. The goal is to make sure the person has all the information they need to make their own decisions about employment. Like everyone else, people with disabilities deserve to make their own informed decisions with support and information from others. Supported decision-making is a new way of helping people make choices without needing a guardian. It allows people to get help from friends, family, or professionals to understand their options and make their own decisions. This approach offers support without limiting a person's rights or freedoms. Next, we'll review the various types of support available to help people with developmental disabilities succeed in the workplace. From on-the-job assistance to accommodations, transportation, and financial planning, these resources make work environments more accessible and inclusive. On-the-job support might involve employment consultants or job coaches who come to the workplace and help people learn their tasks. As the person gets comfortable with the job, the support gradually decreases. Another source of help is natural supports, which means coworkers and supervisors can pitch in to support and include the person in the workplace community. Accommodations and modifications are adjustments that help people do their jobs comfortably. Reasonable accommodations are small changes to tasks or the work environment, like flexible work hours or modified equipment. These are often legally required by the Americans with Disabilities Act, also called the ADA. Some people may also use assistive technology like screen readers, communication aids, or ergonomic tools that make tasks easier. Workplace modifications focus on changing the physical setup, like adding ramps, accessible restrooms, or different lighting. Another helpful area is benefits counseling and financial planning. Through programs like Work Incentives and Planning Assistance, or WIPA, People can get advice on managing Social Security benefits and other supports while working. Medicaid buy-in programs let people keep their health coverage when they get a job, and financial literacy training helps people learn to manage their money, taxes, and savings. Transportation supports help people get to and from work. Some services, like Access to Work, provide paratransit rides, ride-sharing options, or funding help to cover transportation costs. Some employers also offer employer-provided transportation, like shuttle services or help with commuting options. Finally, personal assistance services, or PAS, support people with daily tasks they may need help with while at work. For example, personal care attendants, or PCAs, can assist with things like hygiene or mobility. There are also resources for figuring out how to fund and schedule PCAs as part of employment support. Altogether, these types of supports help create a more accessible and inclusive workplace for people with disabilities, allowing them to do their jobs and feel like part of the team. Job restructuring, modifications, and accommodations. By becoming familiar with the business needs of the employer, the essential functions of the job, and the employee's support needs, various supports can be put into place at the job site to assist the employee in completing their job successfully. These supports can include assistive technology, adjusting schedules, rearranging workspaces, labeling items with pictures, etc. Many supports may also end up benefiting the employees without disabilities. This is known as universal design. Additional resources and services related to employment. Navigating Social Security and Medicaid programs. Programs like Work Incentives and Planning Assistance, or WIPA, can help the employee understand Social Security work incentives and the Medicaid buy-in program, which may support their work-related benefits. Overcoming transportation challenges. Transportation can be a big hurdle for employment. Learning about options like paratransit, ride-sharing, private transportation, and available funding support can make getting to work easier. Using personal care assistants on the job. Personal care assistants, or attendants, can be essential to success at work for those who need support on the job site. Understanding the options and funding sources for these services is important if an employee requires these supports. Advocacy and professional resources. Advocacy groups and professional organizations that focus on disability rights, legislation, and workplace accommodations can be incredibly helpful. Look into resources like the ADA, Job Accommodation Network, APSI, TASH, Councils on Developmental Disabilities, Centers for Independent Living, and protection and advocacy organizations for specialized guidance. The following questions are for your review. They will not be graded. All people with disabilities can be successfully employed in the general workforce, making a competitive salary with the right supports and job match. Setting the expectation that work is the first and preferred outcome for all people, utilizing the various services available to support employees with disabilities, and becoming knowledgeable of resources available to provide expertise in other areas will assist people with disabilities in becoming successful employees. Final test instructions